Hey YouTube, Death Scouter here making another video, and today we are going to be taking off about 11 inches from our stock bumper and turning our stock full width bumper into a stubby. So this is the poor man's stubby. I know a lot of people are out buying steel bumpers to get rid of these cheap plastics, but if you'd rather spend $60 instead of $300, then this is the video for you. And what I've got here, I've got a set of bumper covers specifically made to do what we're doing today. These are from Vertical, I think Vertical Destinations, I think it's what the company's name is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut off 11 inches and then show you that we leave a 3.5 inch lip here to mount the mounting holes for this sleeve. And the reason I want to show this to you, I'm going to try to combine videos here, and obviously I am here to talk about putting on these sleeves, or these end caps, bumper caps. And you'll notice that they are marked with the pilot holes that we're going to use for securing. They're also marked with driver's side and passenger side, so you can't screw it up. But there are some videos out on the web where people are sawing off the ends here and then reusing the existing ends over here and making their own stubby without spending $60 on the parts. You can do that, right? The problem is that the part that you're cutting off is the same diameter, thickness, width, however you want to describe it, as what you're going to be marrying it over, right? So you're just going to be taking out a certain number of inches, and then you're going to be for those guys that are trying to reuse existing ends to the bumper, you're stretching this over top of something that's the same diameter. With the right number of mounting screws, you can make that happen. And I've seen some videos of guys doing that. It actually turned out rather well, so my compliments to them. But what I saw in their videos, and why I wanted to include that on my video, is that I want you to use my video as a template for making your cut. And the reason is because this edge here has to marry properly up to this raised part on your bumper where your tow hooks are. And if that edge doesn't match well, then that screams, I did this myself, right? And you don't want anybody to look at your Jeep and go, man, you got a nice rig, but looks like you did it yourself. You know, what you want to make sure that you get this angle. I'll show it from the front here even better. You want to make sure that you got this angle cut perfectly. So if you want to use my end caps as an idea, then let me just show you some measurements real quick so that you can cut properly. So measuring from the very tip, we're out at 7 inches, and coming in from the edge, we will actually come in about 1 inch, right? So 1 inch from the edge on the more narrow part of the end cap, fanning out to about 7 inches. So what I would tell you to do, right, if you want to take a look and see what we have here, I've already marked with a marker the 3.5 inch cut from this hub, which is what you're supposed to do for these caps. Leave yourself 3.5 inches so that when you put in your mounting holes, you've got something to mount to. So here's what I want to show you. If you're going to go ahead and do it yourself and reuse your existing bumper, here's the measurements, right? So we're going to go, and from the edge of that bumper lift to the very edge here is, looks like 8 1/4, right? And the more, and then we're going to work our way down to and including at this point at the top of the bumper a 9. So we're going from an 8 1/4 cut to a 9 about midway here. To give you another measurement, we're at 8 1/2, right? So start to give you some ideas as to how this is tapering as we go. It's not 8 1/2 all the way down. It's changing as you follow the contour of that bumper. So if you're going to cut off and make your own, my recommendation is that you take your time measuring and do your best to mimic that angle. So we're back to doing the install of these bumper caps here and turning my factory full width into a stubby. The instructions from Vertical Destinations says leave 3.5 inches from this mound. I marked that with a marker. Now I've taped it off all the way around, and I'm going to pull out my handy Sawzall. There is a C-shaped piece of steel inside this bumper. Not the most sturdiest thing in the world, but it is metal, so we got to cut through it. So make sure that any blade that you have is rated for metal cuts. And then what we're going to do is a really simple process. We're going to follow this edge around and make our cuts, and then we're going to slip. I'll just go over here since I already got it on. Then we're going to slip our cap over top of what remains of the bumper using a 1/4 inch drill. Drill out these pilot holes, and there'll be 5 of them. 2, and 1 on the bottom. I believe there's 2. Yep, 5. Alright, so there'll be 5 of them in total, and once you have that drilled out, I'll just show you the little push pins that go in and hold it in place, and this will be like one of the world's fastest Jeep mods ever created. Okay, so I did my first cut here. I want to show this to you. I followed the 3.5 inch rule as closely as I thought I was able to, and what I've got here is this little bit of a gap, and I'm kind of a anal retentive person, so I'm going to go back and cut this and make sure, cut some more off the end here, just to be clear. Cut some more off of here so that I get a flush fit, because I obviously have plenty of space here for my pilot hole, so that doesn't concern me at all. What I want to show is how close, at 3.5 inches off of the hub here, it takes you to the mounting bolt for the bumper itself. So that's one of the mounting bolts for the bumper. There's a solid 1/2 inch left, so if I go ahead and take another 1/4 inch or so off, I should be okay. And then notice now that we've got exposed metal, so we'll be primering and then painting the edge just to control the rust. Not really worried about it, because at some point we'll be going with steel bumpers, but for the sake of doing it right, we'll prime it and paint it to control rust. But be mindful of these mounting holes here on the back of the bumper, so that you don't try to drill through one of these bolts. All right, so we've got the overlays on, and you'll see that if you take off enough, instructions say 3.5. I'm telling you right now, it's 3.25. And it'll butt you up flush. So now you want to use a 1/4 inch drill bit. Make sure that you stick with a 1/4 inch, because that's the right size for the push pins that are going to lock this in place. And use these as pilot holes and drill it out. And there'll be 5 of these on each side. Alright, now you're going to take these fender clips or body clips, whatever you want to call them, once you've drilled your 1/4 inch hole, and just jam them in and drop one on the ground for good luck on a rainy day. 1, 2, 3. This makes 4. Pick up number 5 off the ground. Okay. And, well, not having good luck with that one. It's gravitationally challenged. There we go. And they're on. Alright, so see if I can back off a little bit and show you the difference. So we've gone, and this cap's not on yet, but we've gone from full width to stubby, taking off about 5 inches of width, and giving the Jeep a little bit more of an aggressive stance. Alright, so to finish up, there we go. There's the final look on the Rock Monster. We're stubbied. Wheels are fully exposed, so got a little better flex. And for those of you who want to reuse the factory end, you'll have to do some cutting in order to get to all this. But just wanted to show you a cross-section view of what you're going to have once you lop this thing off. So remember what I said, you're going to take out about 4 or 5 inches. So I'm assuming that this gap is still available for for you to slip over top of the remaining bumper. But there's no metal involved. This is all plastic at this point. When you cut all this off, you're just taking plastic off of the bumper. And if you want to stretch it over and try to make it fit, go ahead and do that. Like I said, I've seen some people that did it rather successfully. I didn't feel like risking it to look like not good, so I went out and spent the $60 on Amazon for these. Let me jump in here and show you what this was. So this is made by, I'm sorry, I said Vertical Destinations. It's Vertically Driven Products. So, part number 31550 for 2012 through 2016 JK and JKUs. So, hopefully you like the look. I certainly do. And all in, this was probably a 5-minute modification. So, enjoy, man. Happy Jeeping.